Dukes of Devonshire have been the custodians of Chatsworth and this magnificent landscape for over 550 years. It all started in 1549 with Bess of Hardwick, who became a very wealthy and influential Elizabethan, and she persuaded her second husband, Sir William Cavendish, to sell some land and purchase the manor of Chatsworth. And of her many achievements, she built a house at Chatsworth. She also built the hunting tower, which you can see on the escarpment today above Chatsworth, which, interestingly, 500 years later is now a holiday cottage on the estate. Her second son, William, another William Cavendish, inherited her estates at Chatsworth, and his successors, the Earls and Dukes of Devonshire, have, each and every one of them in their own way, contributed to the fabric of the estate and the evolution of the estate over the centuries by adding estates, great art collections, and also marrying wisely and bringing greater wealth into the family. I believe that the NFU saw Chatsworth as the ideal venue for this conference because of its long history and tradition of tenant farming on the estate and the strong landlord and tenant relationship that has built up over the generations. Although the estate has diversified successfully over the last 30 years or more, agriculture has always remained an important part of the business here. We farm in hand just under 5,500 acres of livestock and cereals, but the mainstay is the 22,000 acre let portfolio of farms. We have approximately 75 tenant farmers on the estate. The average farm size is about 300 acres. The average age of our tenants is the early 50s, which probably is slightly below the national average. Well, I think the main issues for tenants on this estate, which would not be unique, are the rent, of course, investment on the farms, succession and retirement. As far as legislation is concerned, I feel that the Agricultural Tenancies Act provides the sort of flexibility that we need to create a modern agricultural tenancy with diversification. However, I feel that it may be beneficial for the government to provide some sort of policy which would enable farmers to retire and to provide them with an affordable house to move to, because at the end of their careers they very often have very little to go away with. A retirement initiative would, I think, give tenant farmers the opportunity to retire at retirement age rather than carry on for many, many years, and would, of course, provide then opportunities for new entrants into farming.
I'm Bill Dilks and I've been farming on the Chatsworth estate since 1961. I've been an actual tenant since about 1978. We farm 700 acres, some of it's in old agricultural tenancy agreements, some's on FBT. Tenant farmers are facing quite a few issues currently with retirement, with finding sufficient land, with finding small farms where they can start. But I think it's important that the tenant-landlord system remains. Because I was involved in NFU and I was concerned that tenant issues probably weren't at the fore in many discussions, I tried to put myself forward to try and get on the tenants committee. After a while I was successful in doing that, and then the tenants nominated me to be the East Midlands representative, and I'm pleased about that, because I do feel, although there's a huge amount of tenanted land, much more than people realise throughout the country, they're not being noticed sufficiently for the amount of land that they farm. And I wanted to try and do my little bit to bring tenants' issues to the fore in discussion when we have meetings with the NFU and others, so that tenants are recognised as an important part of the agricultural scene.